Okay, this is another series in IRR distortions, and this is the one I get most emotional about by far. Here is my theory. My theory is that Wall Street comes up with arbitrary kind of baloney, BS. I'm not gonna go further because it's the morning and I'm relaxed, and they come up with crazy numbers on these country risk premiums. The numbers come out of nowhere. They come out of some potion. They come out of some black magic kind of black box stuff that ends up with a high premium on a African or some kind of Asian or Pakistan or these countries and justifies them from just stealing money. They should call this instead. Now I downloaded this. See, I said I'm not going to get emotional. We could rename this premium to steal money out of a country, because we're going to build exactly the same solar plant, turbine, combined cycle plant, and the cost is going to be double because of these risk premiums that have nothing to do with risk, real risk, the risk you care about. So I went to Demerda and I downloaded this criminal stuff. I'm going to delete some of these things I don't care about. I suppose he uses these. VLOOKUP. Oh, he uses VLOOKUP. Very bad to use VLOOKUP. No idea. Very bad to use yes or no instead of true or false. And D4 is yes. And that was D4. Oh, that must be up here. Okay. So what he has is a little table where you can get the total equity risk premium, but we really care about column H. We care about the country risk premium. Okay. And if you want to do it, I think he might have something like this, but you can put data validation here. I think I put this data validation here, but I thought there was one there. So if you put United States of America, there is no risk premium. Uh-oh. Oh no, I'm going to just have to do this one. And if you put Germany, come on. We have to pay a risk premium in Germany relative to the US. There's much more risk in Germany. And then if we go to India, we need a 2.3 risk premium in Jamaica. Uh-oh, I don't have it. Uh-oh, Kazakhstan, 3%. I should see. Liechtenstein, we have Liechtenstein, nothing. And then Nicaragua, we need net. Oh, no, I did something wrong. Um, I might have to undo a couple of things we did. Qatar. Why? I'm looking. Oh, Senegal. Here we go. Oh, shoot. Just a minute. I'm going to have to get the file back. Okay, so instead of deleting these columns, I'm just going to hide them. What I did wrong, what I did. Maybe it requires another link. So let's just make sure we have this back. So if I take Philippines, for example, we get a country risk premium of about 2% using our different fancy old methods. But if I go to Rwanda, I need 8%. And South Africa is only 2%. Let's see, Tunisia, 5%. Come on, let me get Zambia. There we go, 6.75%. I need a 6.75% higher equity IRR than I would in the U.S., for example. Everything's, of course, tied to the U.S. because he's from the U.S. Why not? And then let's just see what that really means. So here's what I'm going to do. If you we're going to start with, I'm not going to start with US, I'm going to start with Germany. I always do that because US is not AAA rated anymore, and if you really want to think about a risk, I think probably Germany would be considered a safe place. So we'll put target IRR, and in this one I'm not going to distinguish between equity IRR and project IRR, but I know that people need about a 6% IRR. Okay, Shift Control P, and then we're going to put let's put cash flows, and we'll put the capex. Let's say it's just 1,000, and let's put the life of the project, and let's say that's 25 years. Now that's going to make a surprising difference in this whole analysis. And then the EBITDA, or we can put cash flow. I don't care if this is equity cash flow right now, or pre-tax or after-tax. It's really equity cash flow because this is equity return. So let's say that if this is 6%, this has to be something like 720. We have to get the interest on 6%, and then we have to recover the principal as well. So let's put period, and I guess I'll do this a little more flexibly. So if I put Alt EIS, and we go to 50 years, okay? And we can put a switch, and we should do it in our nice transparent kind of way, and make this less than or equal to this one. Okay, and then we put our cash flow, and I should have done this, not done this, Alt DIS. I think I went to 50, didn't I? And we'll put a minus on capex, and then we'll put our cash flow, and I put 720, and I meant to put 72, right? Sorry about that. And we'll put the cash flow and multiply that by the true. Nothing gets people more irritated in Africa, by the way, than having to pay so much more for exactly the same kind of equipment, same kind of plant. And then we can put realized IRR, and I'll put it here, and okay, Shift Control P, it didn't work, so we'll put target IRR, and we'll put difference. I'm going to call that difference 1. Okay, this minus the target IRR. Whoops, target IRR is this, and the difference is this. Okay, and I'll put German. Now what we really need to do is get this one, so we need this. This is going to be a range name, and this is going to be a range name. Okay, so we can press Shift Control F3. Oops. Shift Control F3. Right column. Okay, and Shift Control F3. And let's make a goal seek, but first make a macro on the goal seek, and we'll put German. Okay, and nothing against Germany, of course. This is data, what if analysis, goal seek. We set the difference to a value of 0 by changing the cash flow. Okay, and we press OK, we stop recording, we go to the developer, we look at our macro. Oh no. Where's German? Oh, here it is. Why does it say module 1? Okay, and this was DIFF1, and I hope I put 2 F's there, I can't remember really, and this was German. Okay, and we could do 2 things with that. We could put a spinner box around it. If we put a spinner box around it, we could make the IRR go from 0 to 100. I think it could go above 100, I guess. There's no real reason to look at another sheet, but since I'm so used to that, I'll do that. I'll put it here, put this one, this equal this, divided by 100, and we push this up, and then we right click and go to assign macro, and go to German. I press OK. Okay, and then we can get our, if we have a 6% IRR, we need a 72. Now if we make a 50-year project, 40-year project, I'm going to have to go up and down. We could have, then I need 60. Let's make it a 30-year project. Oh shit. Not 1%. Instead of putting it. Okay, fine. I'll put a spinner box here. Stupid. Okay, and this time let's make it number 6. Whoops. And we better make this one go just up to 50 because that's all we put in. I know we can't really start with 0. Let's start with 5 or something. Okay, so on this one, let's just make it equal to that one. So we can, oh no, what happened? Ah, crap. If we go to format control, why didn't it, maximum value was 50, I thought. Maybe I put 5 in there. Okay, so each time it's doing a goal seek, it can go even faster, can't we? Okay. And even though I said 50, I meant to put 30. And it's doing a goal seek each time. Okay. Step number 1, Shift Control C. We've got, and then now we'll put our country. So I'm going to put Zambia. And what we really should do is something very simple. We can insert and if you want to do it really fast, here's the way to do it. Right click, go to format control, click on the expropriation, ERPs, and we click on the country. The whole thing. Don't worry about the crap at the top. You kind of can. And then on this one, we'll go to a different sheet, back to this sheet, and put a number here. And that way we can go past this stuff. Okay, it would be nice if we could put a minimum value. We can't put a minimum value on that. Can we do? No, I guess not. And then we can just put our risk premium here, which is on this one. Instead of lookup, we could use, see this, you have to look up B2 and all this. So this one, he got it in A. Oh, Jesus. Oh, this horrible shit. See, we can just, on the R, we can just look up the, this is an alphabetical order, we could use the lookup. So we can just look up this one. Oh, let's use the match and index. This is our match. Let's just use an index. That's the easiest way to do it. Sorry about that. Why this is the country risk premium here, and then we go and put this. Just a minute. Oh, this is Argentina now. So if I want Austria, Shift Control P. Austria's got no risk, I guess. Let's put this one, and this time on the format control we can go, and instead of doing 8 we could do 50 if we want, and then it would. So I want Cote d'Ivoire. Okay, so let's do it like this. Let's copy this to the this one, so we can get our risk premium. So now we the first thing we put is a risk premium, and we go to this one. Now that's the risk premium. So if we wanted 6% in Germany, we put our base IR, which I'll use the one from Germany, and then we'll get our total IR, and just put equal sign. So we need, whereas we need 6% in Germany, we need this. We don't need to put the switch in here, and you can, I'm not going to get into this argument right now. Now you can say, oh, you have to pay customs duties, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, that's part of the, cash flow. That's a different issue than risk premium. We don't need a risk premium. That just is going to increase our cost. I don't deny that can happen. That's clearly can happen. And then what we need here is to put some required cash flow. Okay, and let's, now if we need 12.75, that's going to be about, instead of 72, that's going to be about 130. Okay, and then we can do the same thing and put our 130 and multiply that by the true and false. Shift Control 1, Shift Control R, and I didn't put the F4 here, so I'll do it again. Shift Control R, and we can do the same kind of thing. We get our realized IR and our target IR and get the difference. Okay, so our realized IR is IR of this one, Shift Control P, target IR this time is up here, difference, whoops, put a minus somehow in this one, and the difference is this minus this, whoops, this minus this. Okay, and then we're going to do another goal seek, and this time we put a country. I can't put Zambia because I probably could figure out how to make a flexible range name, and I'm going to call this diff 2. Suppose I should move this around, huh? Okay, and this was Shift Control F3, whoops, Shift Control F3, and this was Shift Control F3. Okay, and then we just switch our, it's a little repetitive, excuse me for that, but we put country, how about RP, and then we make our goal seek data. What if analysis goal seek, set the difference to 0 by changing the risk premium, not the risk premium, amount we need, switch off the goal seek, Shift Control C to make sure, what, just a minute, well, that bugged me that it didn't stay in the same place, and then we can, now, I suppose what we can do is the first thing, of course, let's go to our developer, macros, go to our country risk premium, edit that, and put difference 2, and we set that to 0 by changing country. Remember that? Okay, and we're not quite finished. That shows you right there that we need a higher risk premium in Zambia. Oops. And this should have said, excuse me. Oh, no. We put index. Oh, let's do it like this. So let's get our country name equal index. And just click on the entire column. And then go and get our number. So that's our country. And okay, and what we could do here is attach the macro to the country. So we see how much is this criminal behavior of Wall Street going to increase. In Denmark, we get the same number, but in Isle of Man, they have Isle of Man there, huh? Let's take Charger, they have Charger, good. Ukraine, oh my God, we need 200 for the same thing. For Venezuela, we need 173. Oh, Ukraine is worse. So let's go to Zambia and put that in. So whenever we switch that, it's just running the macro and giving us the price that we need. Now, to do this, let's do a probability of default implied probability of default loss given default. Now this default, please, it's not some bullshit. This is the probability of defaulting on a PPA contract. These vague things about country defaults and all that. This is the probability that we sign a PPA contract and it's going to give us a default. Now to define the default, let's put first the year of default. And then let's put the probability of default. And then once we have the probability of default, let's put the loss given a default. So let's say we default in year 3. And let's say the probability of default is 60%. 60% chance. And then when we lose money, let's say we lose 85% of our value. They're really mean to us, okay? This is kind of, I think, would be a bad scenario. Did it bring me down? Okay. Now, if we do this, I think that's all we need. Now what we're going to do is really come up with this implied probability of default by putting the different numbers in for this one. So, you know, I might, how about I'll copy that number. I'll copy this number. So we could put the year of default. I should have copied it from the other place. Oh, shit. Okay. That should have been from here, really. Copy this and put it here. Now, when we do that, first of all, let's change this to 30. Secondly, let's right-click and take the macro out because we're going to put another new macro in, a new little goal seek. And on this loss given default, we could do the same thing. Let's copy that and put a little macro in for that and take the macro assignment off and right click and use 32. Okay. And what we'll do here is put an equal sign and take this one, equal sign and take this, divided by 100. So I want a much higher loss given default, and I want a much lower number here. Oh, I think I didn't allow it to go down to 0. So I think we need 1 as our minimum here, otherwise, believe it won't really work. Okay, and then, so this is default, year of default, and let's put EOY. So we default at the very end of the year. We have to, if we're going to have an annual case, we have to define that. If we do it at the beginning of the year or the end of the year. Okay. Now then we have 2 scenarios. So scenario 1 is default. And there's a probability of default on that scenario. Oops. Yeah. No. We can do it like this. To no default. Okay, we can make it like this, I think. So this is supposed to be like some sort of tree diagram. Maybe we'll make it 1 less. So this is going to give us our kind of, and then we can put our expected cash flow. Somebody can say, oh, no, you have to, if we have a probability of default, you can't use expected, you have to use something else. Okay, bullshit. So we have 60%, and we put 1 minus 60% in that scenario. And in our default scenario, now in both of these, we have to pay our 1,000. We still have to do that. But in our default scenario, now I think the first thing we need to do is, let's put default period. So we have a default period when this number, if it's defaulting at the end of the year, we still got it in the first year, so we put it greater than 1. Shift Control R, so we have all the rest of this as default period. Now, if we have a default, what we do is we take our number and we multiply it by 1 minus the loss given default. That's what we have in the default scenario. Okay, and that's when this thing is, so I think we need our if statement. So if this is true, if it's defaulted, that's all we get. Now, if it's not true, we still get the whole amount. That's not that hard, is it? It's almost too long a formula. Now, in no default, we always just get the same number. Okay, and then all we have to do for our expected cash flow, and I put this in a bad place, is we say, okay, well, we'll get this one times the 60% plus this one times the 40%. Okay, and this is, and then we can get our realized IRR, which is what we've been doing the whole time. If we're lazy, we just shift the whole thing, and we still get, in this case, we still get more than Germany. So this kind of crazy scenario has a where we default in year 1, and we get a 60% chance of this. Since we're getting 40%, we're almost getting as much money as we got in Germany anyway. Okay, and or maybe I'll make a graph this time. Okay, I'm making a long video, but this is an important one. So let's put target, and this time our target is just the German, because after we explicitly count for default, we can go back to the original one and we put a minus. And I wish these people would, and let's call this diff 3. But this time on the on the probability of default, I'm going to call this PD. Okay, so this is our range name for PD. This is our range name for default, and we'll make yet another macro, and this was probability default, and we take this difference. I didn't really have to do that. That was really bad, actually. What if analysis? Make this goal sake, make that difference equal to 0 by changing. You know, of course, you don't have to do that. So the implied probability of default that we really can accept is 6%. Stop the macro. It's going to be diff3 in PD. So we go to the developer, we go to macros, we go to probability of default, we press edit, and I see why I put German. It must be because like there's a German thing in okay, and we call this diff. Oh, it's good, I can even see it. 3, and make that change by PD. And we put that, run it. Okay, and now we can attach this one to this one. So if we press the assign macro, we can put the probability of default. Now, if we default instead of in year 1, if we could push our default to year 3, 5, then we'd have an 89% probability of default. Okay, that's our implied probability of default. And then we can assign it to this one as well. And we can say, okay, what happens if we have a different probability of default for whatever, a loss given default. So if we have a higher loss given default, we have a lower probability of default, a lower loss given default, a higher probability of default, a different year. We can put it in, but these numbers are all very high. I think what I'm going to do is put this one. Let's just put the German cash flow and shift control R, right? Okay, and I'll just go German, and then we put Zambia, and we can put R. Which one should we put? Should we put all 3 of them? Maybe we put Zambia. This one we'll put default. I've not tried this. It might be not very good to do this. Let's press F4. Zambia no default. And then Zambia expected. Okay. You know, I'm sure this man is really proud of his fancy standard deviation calculations or what have you to get all this, but it's all crap if you don't consider the explicit probability. Now, how about we'll do this? If it's true up here, then we do this. Otherwise, we put NA open close bracket, shift control R, and we shift control, and then we press, how about Alt F1, and we have to change the scale. It doesn't look kind of very good. Come on, right click, format the axis, put this a date axis, and Just a minute. I'm going to turn it off for a minute while I screw around. Okay, all I did is make a graph. I used our NA technique to cut off the scale, and now we can kind of change all of this stuff if we put a little different thing for Germany, if we put a different loss given default, if we put a different default year, we can just run them all and see what our implied probability of default is. Okay, so I think I get criticized for being academic on this one, or people don't kind of understand it full. Here's Rwanda, we just run it all, and we get the implied probability of default in this criminal spreadsheet. Okay, that's it for that.